Our story begins with a death, the death of the Indian miniature paintings and the artistic culture of India. Who were the perpetrators? The rise of the European style oil paintings in India. By the end of the 19th century, most of the miniature painting styles like Mughal and Rajasthan were in rapid decline. This was in large part contributed to British propaganda. Indian paintings were degraded as weak imitations, while our wealthy started viewing this foreign style as status symbol and only patronized art which was in the European style. Through systematic conditioning, the educated class were getting attracted towards the foreign way of life and rejecting their own history and culture. They were convinced that India had no artistic heritage. Under the British rule, Indian art was at its lowest point. But not every Englishman was the same. Enter E.B. Havell, the principal of Government Art School, Kolkata, where he met Abhindranath Tagore of the reputed Tagore family. Quickly bonded over their mutual opinions towards the state of Indian art and created a dynamic partnership with purpose to create a unique style of painting, which was not only Indian in subject matter but also in style. Thus was the beginning of the Bengal School of Art. The Amrit was the revival of Indian artistry, especially in the tumultuous times that were to come.
The first generation of the students of Abanindranath engaged in recovering the lost language of Indian art, writes art historian Partha Mittal. To create awareness that modern Indians could benefit from its rich past, Abanindranath started a journal called Indian Society of Oriental Art. He was the leading artist of the movement, whose paintings laid the trademark characteristics of Bengal School. The most notable of these was the wash technique, which is synthesized by combining Japanese and European watercolor techniques. The linear delicacy, rhythm, and grace that can be seen throughout this period is attributed to Ajanta and bark paintings, while Mughal and Rajasthani influences can also be noted in the way light and shade have been used. Colors used were soft and had glowing shine to them without the use of gaudy or bright colors. The most unique was a focus on patriotic and themes relating to social and daily life of the people. The rise of the nationalist sentiment with the Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation, self-governance, among many other reasons, was the cause for focusing on patriotic and social themes. This is Bharat Mata, a painting by Abanindranath Tagore, 1905. It is a response to the partition of Bengal. It depicts a young woman with four arms similar to various Hindu deities, holding objects symbolic of an Indian's aspirations. Inspired by poem Vande Mataram by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, it soon became a very popular iconography of the nationalist movement.
While the Government Art School in Kolkata was the center of this new artistic movement, it was not the only center. Shantiniketan emerged as another prominent nucleus of the revival movement. Some might even argue its legacy in the grand scheme of things was more important than the birthplace of Bengal School. Established by Maharishi Devendranath Tagore in 1863, this piece of land in Bhubadanga was renamed to Shantiniketan, the abode of peace. He established an ashram on the land and started to teach his students about the principles of the Brahmo Samaj, as well as the importance of nature and simplicity. But it wasn't until Rabindranath Tagore took the helm and established Vishwa Bharati University and Kala Bhavan that the revolution started. Shantiniketan was envisioned to be a tranquil, rural environment surrounded by nature and far removed from the hustle and bustle of city life. Tagore's vision was not limited to creating an intimate community of teachers and students as embodied in the traditional Indian Gurukul system. Instead, he aimed to create an environment that would open students' mind to the world within and around them, as he believed that freeing one's mind was crucial for an artist's learning process. This tradition is still faithfully adhered to at the university today. Kala Bhavan provided various avenues of art, fresco painting, rangoli, woodcut, embroidery, weaving, while music and dance were featured in the Sangeet Bhavan. During the late 1900s, Rabindranath met Nandlal Bose, whom he later persuaded to head his Kala Bhavan at Shantiniketan. It was during this time at Shantiniketan that Nandlal emerged as a pioneer of Bengal art movement. There, he would teach in the traditional guru and apprentice system, unlike in colonial art schools, designed for draftsmanship and book illustrations. Gandhi was impressed by such methods of regenerating India's cultural heritage. Gandhi was also intrigued by Nandlal's paintings, which often afforded great respect to tribals and the untouchables.
The pivotal Salt March left a major impression on Nandlal as it did on the rest of the nation. The march ended with Gandhi breaking the salt law and subsequently being arrested. The Dandi March was only one of the non-violent forms of protests, but its sparks lighted the whole country and mobilized people from all walks of life. And so, indignant at the arrest of Gandhi, Nandalal Bose made this linacot of Gandhi during the Salt March with a staff in hand. This linacot soon became the most iconic image of the leader of the freedom movement and is still widely used and recognized in the present. By 1935, as the working and social relations of Gandhi and Bose increased, the metropolitan areas of Calcutta had done the same, replacing the village life. These were due to hundreds of years of British mercantile and its imperialist activities. Gandhi wanted to counter this metropolis expansion by showcasing the beauty and dignity of rural life, and for which he asked the help of Nandalal, who he considered the best artist to convey the strength, spirit, and self-sufficiency of rural communities. Nandalal's works was to be exhibited at the Indian National Congress's conventions, locusts of the freedom movement, and so attended by thousands of people. It was at Haripura that showcased large-scale posters made on handmade paper. He reproduced his sketches on the daily lives of people living in the surrounding villages on poster boards, with over 80 of them being painted by Bose and over 300 to be colored or copied by his students and associates. These posters were styled with exuberant bright tones, and the focus of the posters was on Indian village life, although the subject differed. They celebrate the joy and culture of the Indian village life and share vibrant color palettes along spontaneous, energetic lines. Often the backgrounds are done neutral to focus the attention on the figure or the scene. The niche that frames the subject unifies the composition of these posters. Nandalal's posters, in line with Gandhi's values, reminded those who saw the posters of the spirit and beauty in simplicity and in the everyday, along with the charm, playfulness, and diversity in folk art. Gandhi declared Nandalal a master who could create art out of anything.
This is Bankura, a district in West Bengal whose parched red soil and green groves once gave birth to a flourishing folk culture.
With moss grown temples which still retain some amazing examples of terracotta figures. This heritage played a major role behind elusive simplicity of Jamini Roy's painting. The passion for paintings caught Jamini at a very young age as he observed the forms and designs made by the village craftsmen. And so, his father agreed to send his 16-year-old son to Government School of Art, Kolkata. Here, Jamini became incredibly proficient in Western academic styles. The encouragement and appreciation from Principal Percy Brown formed the primary assist of Jamini Roy in his early year. But before he could get his diploma, he left the school and became an impressive portrait painter.
The peak of his fame as a portrait painter, Jamini Roy sought comparative affluence, but not happiness. It gave him a living, but not the life he wanted to live. The growing need of the restless mind cannot be satisfied by mere repetition.
Between the desires for self-expressions and the monotonous daily work until his soul has touched by the craftsmen of his village. Folk painting of Bengal and terracotta figurines of Bacchara and Vishnupur.
It was the moment of truth.
Jamini Roy gave up painting portraits and gradually began to learn to unlearn all his academic knowledge. Representation was not his goal anymore. It was to transform. From the folk painters of Kalighat, he learned his distinguished use of bold sweep of line, accompanied by details.
सीतापति सुंदरतन प्रजारंजनकारी जय सीतापति सुंदरतन प्रजारंजनकारी राघव राम.
Jamini Roy's close association with the theatre world of Calcutta gave him immense knowledge of design and figure. Roy's selection of subjects were inexhaustible, and colors were used in their full glory. The unifying force behind his new forms and design came from traditional Indian myths to which he now turned. For example, his exquisite work on Krishna and Rama in panels. In the 1930s, an important section of the Indian society came out in his support, like Bengali poets and intellectuals who recognized the emergence of an artist of international stature.
After World War II, Jamini Roy shifted his rented house in North Calcutta and built his own studio in less congested southern part of his city. His new house became a favorite of his friends and art lovers. Roy's capacity to work never waned. In his last 20 years, he pronounced an astonishing volume of work with great variety.
After 1970, the age had started to catch up with him. His fingers would move as he wanted, and his eyes would play unkind tricks on him. He was diagnosed with pneumonia and had eluded death twice. But in 1972, His body gave up.